So the girl with the pigtails tells him that it will be a battle, everyone versus him, and he accepts. And already up on the roof, the four of them go against our Zero. Even though the four of them try to attack him at the same time, none of them manage to land any hit on him, and then the pigtail girl comes up with something, because she uses Sang's face as a trampoline, and even though she tries to surprise him with a kick, she still cannot touch him. But then our protagonist goes all out, because he throws a punch so strong that he sends her flying, but luckily the little ninja saves her, so she apologizes and thanks the ninja. So in that distraction, the white-haired girl takes advantage to launch a kick at him together with the ninja, and since it does not achieve any result, she throws a lot of ice at him, lifting him up into the air. But our protagonist is absurdly overpowered, so much that with a single punch he breaks the whole ice tower and tells the sorceress that against him that does not work. So she freezes him with the ice that he himself has smashed, but even so, he destroys it. And then he asks about San, whom he finds and to whom he gives a beating, just like to her ninja, and after that he leaves. But when he gets home, it is his sister who hits him, because she complains that he brought a stray dog when he does not even bring money to the house for expenses. And so that they will accept him, the little girl and the puppy look at her with cute little eyes so that she will give in, and of course the sister gives in like that. And right after that, the puppy takes her to the laboratory where she works, where the kindly old man left her a video telling her to keep experimenting because he will have to go out for a while. And we notice that in that same laboratory, the bad guys have appeared, even the president who is half dead. And there the elder asks the scientist if by any chance he can do something for his son. But since the scientist denies it, the old emperor simply kills his son, yes, just like that, and tells him that regarding that research, he should put more effort into it. Right then, the brother of Albina also arrives, making fun of the president who is in a wheelchair, but the old emperor tells him that he still has not settled accounts with his sister. This guy says that his sister got herself into trouble and he apologizes in her name, but he trusts that the emperor will understand because right now they are at a key moment of the project and they cannot destroy this piece they have built just because of one woman. The old man knows that this is true and leaves. Likewise, this albino brings him a new researcher or scientist to help the kindly old scientist, and all of this is so that he will hurry up with the work while the albino looks at him with a very threatening face. Meanwhile, in the hero association, our protagonist and Albina keep flirting, but there our hero tells her to stop what she is doing, and right at that moment the new director of City H is announced, who from now on will be none other than Albina's brother. And after the big speech that the guy gives, it is mentioned that from now on they will be protected by the chief of City H, to which Albina, a bit insecure, agrees, and of course our Zero notices that. And after that, the sorceress goes to see her brother, and the albino simply tells her that the day has already been chosen and asks the girl how the preparations are going. But she, with her head down, tells him that they have advanced only a little, so the brother grabs her by the cheeks and tells her not to believe that that group of people she has at her side will be able to help her escape, and if she does escape, she already knows the consequences. And amid that sternness, he mentions that she will take responsibility for her own disasters, and that is how he lets her go to the floor. But then he speaks to the door, because he knows that Albina's friends were there, and he tells them to come out quickly because he has already seen them, and he quickly invites our protagonist to join his family. But of course he refuses, so the brother uses mental pressure, and it is so powerful that it even stuns the heroes outside. But our hero is not affected, so both of them apply pressure on the opponent. But there our protagonist stops him by putting a little more pressure, and yes, he pushes him back. He even makes the albino spit blood, so the brother remarks that this one really does have power. Meanwhile, our Zero tells him that if he has nothing else to say to him, then he will leave. And in the albino's thoughts, he actually wanted to mark his position by showing all his power, but he only ended up ridiculous, even thinking that our Zero is a person who is dangerous for him. And on the other hand, in the laboratory, the sister was able to make a dog study, also showing that all his physiological indicators are fine. So for the moment, there are no side effects or anything like that. Really smart, that girl. But then her ex appears, who was hiding because he came to warn her so that she can escape, since there he reveals to her that the backers of the doctor, who is her boss, are the Dawn family, which is Albina's, and the U family, which is the president's. And he knows that each of them has very evil plans, and it would not surprise him if they fought, and if she continues here, it will be very dangerous for her life. She thinks about it for a bit and knows that for that very reason she must not leave the place or the doctor who has taught her so much. So she continues with with her research. Meanwhile, she calls her security staff so that they will protect the girl's house. And on the other side, our Zero was walking with San when suddenly he feels someone's presence. So he grabs the spy and asks him what he is doing here near the laboratory where his sister is. And he tells the playboy that it is time to use his secret weapon. And of course they make her faint, but not out of pleasure, relax, but out of fright at arriving so fast at the top floor where they find the girl's other companions, so they set out to knock them all out right away. But then, when checking the pants of the great bald Dulong, he finds a medal that belongs to one of the 8 most powerful royal families, exactly the Long family. There, our Zero remembers that it is the family of his sister's ex, and thinks that he wants to have the blonde by force. So he thinks that he should give him a lesson, releasing only a little of his power. Meanwhile, the horned guy is informed that his bodyguards were defeated, but he remembers that each member of that group was able to defeat on his own 2 rank A heroes, so he thinks that maybe it was the albino. Meanwhile, our protagonist gives his sister a necklace and tells her that if she is ever in trouble, she should press the button and he will appear instantly. She is about to thank him, but she is kind of tsundere, so as thanks, she slaps him. Actually, it was so as not to get him into trouble. And she kicks them both out because she is researching. And in another panel, we see 13, who is doing the stakeout to watch Albina, realizing that in these days she has not left the house. But the strangest thing is that she is even made up in her room. But then a car arrives quickly, from which a handsome blonde guy gets out with several bodyguards because he belongs to the family of the president and of the old emperor. And he grabs her by the chin, saying that now she will be his wife, but she does not let herself be grabbed and goes straight to the car. And then this jerk insults her because he tells her that she is an idiot, and she, in a low voice, says that this guy is really horrible. So now, really angry, he grabs her by the cheek and hugs her. Or well, actually he chokes her, and then throws her to the floor. But right at that moment, the Association of Muscleheads stops them because they are Albina's best friends. And even though they try to help her, it does not do much, since the robots subdue them quickly, and likewise the bad guy puts Albina into the car. But since she sees that he is pounding her friends, she shouts at him to stop. She even points an ice sword at the guy's neck. And when he is about to hit her again, 13 shoots him a bullet. But the guy stops it only with his bare hands, returning it and knocking 13 down from the tree. And to finish, he throws his wind magic at him, making a very deep wound all over his chest. No, poor 13. And she, in tears, begs him that he can do whatever he wants with her, but to please leave the others in peace since they are already almost dead. And he grabs her by the chin, pointing out that he is getting bored, so they had better change places to enjoy her. What a son of a jerk. And so with his car, they go to another place, but the scoundrel orders his robot to kill everyone who was still alive. No way, man. But right when the robot was about to fire its beam, our protagonist appears to save them and tells his friend to leave the rest to him because he will take care of it. That is the least he can do. No, dude, you are the protagonist. And then he sees that despite the hit he gave the robot, that toy repairs itself, so to face it, he draws his crimson sword, and now he really cuts it and incinerates it. But the other 3 toys fire a beam at him. However, Daddy Zero destroys all 3, and even so, a cowardly robot, realizing the high danger, tries to retreat. But Lin Ye is not going to allow that since they hurt many people, and still those scoundrels want to escape, and at least for him that is something immoral, so he cuts it down. On the other hand, the blonde guy has been informed that his robots have been destroyed, and when he sees in the footage who it is, he is surprised that he has the Sword of the Fire Spirit. And well, Albina is surprised that it is the protagonist, so without hesitation, she says his name, and then the blonde gets happy because he tells her that it seems Albina actually is useful for something, since she has made him realize that Lin Ye's sword is an incomparable weapon as a gift for anyone. Meanwhile, our great Zero curses the enemy family again, wanting to go and annihilate them right now, but his companions stop him since he does not even know where they are, and what is important now is to heal the wounded. He understands and helps because they are right, promising 13 that he will avenge him and rescue Miss Albina, and later, when they get home, they tell Antojitos and he is very surprised, but in a bad way, because he explains to them that the O family is the most powerful in District C, and it is worth pointing out their robots, that he only sent about 4, and even so, they were able to defeat the Muscleheads and 13. And now it is very likely that they will send their entire army, thinking that if that happens, they will die. But Sam asks the chicken guy if he is afraid, but he answers with another question. Are you not afraid? Are you not human? There, the show-off explains that in his dictionary, the word fear does not exist, while Lin Ye in turn mentions that he has already forgotten the feeling of fear. And they also add that Albina is their friend. And how could they abandon a friend when she is in danger? Besides, the blood of the muscleheads and 13 cannot be shed in vain. And since they are heroes, they live fighting crime and evil, and they cannot surrender just because the criminals are more powerful. And right at that moment, the handsome purple-haired guy appears and agrees with them, because very stylishly he says that a true hero does not lower his head before any force of evil. This one already forgot how they formatted his windows, and then Zero asks him what he is doing here, and he answers that he received the information that Miss Albina is in trouble, and obviously he came to help, master, and our egocentric one tells him that this he will accept. So Antigitos has no choice but to accept, and he knows that in the worst case they will simply die. But if they are heroes, they have to be like the Great Zero, brave and without fear. Of course, something important to mention here is that nobody until now knows the true identity of the Great Zero, because it was never revealed. And after that, they go to see the facilities of the internal structure of the Wu Yang family, that is their house, while everyone is surprised at how fast the assassin ninja managed to break the security system of one of the 8 great families. And on top of that, she is petting a puppy, which gives her extra points. But she reveals the puppy did it all, so the others cry feeling inferior to a dog. She says that tomorrow night Albina will be engaged to the blonde.